Now, let's dive into our second match here in the NA region. Let's talk about the teams, starting with Citrus Nation. For the name alone and the logo, I'm obviously a big fan.
It's great. Yeah, no, it's sick. I think Citrus Nation, what was crazy about Citrus Nation was the fact that they went to a game number 5, and we've had a lot of 3 Overwatch, I know, both in like the APAC region and also here, but they went to a game 5 yesterday with former M80, former WD40 a team called LFO, back and forth. Like, they took a map, LFO took a map, they took a map, LFO took a map. It was an insane match, like worth looking back in the VODs. And they were going up against a stacked team too. Seeker, Top Dragon, Mirror, Lion, MCD, like an insane roster. So Citrus Nation, I got a lot of hope for, honestly. It's going to be an exceptional game, although again, you are going up against some of the best North America does have to offer. Dante, King, Vision, Juby, Squid, False, Lucamino as well.
And Hunter on the coaching bench as well. So this is a stacked roster.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was amazing to watch their performance yesterday as well, because this is another team that was able to get like a very dominant 3-0 over their opponent, bang bang pow. And like I'm talking like the levels that we just saw from our first NA match of the day. So do we get a chance to see another full push? Do we get a chance to see another full hold? This is the type of roster that can deliver that sort of performance. And you also have to sort of look at specifically, I think, like King and Juby, who are able to play the Lucio and the Tracer respectively, because those are going to be very impactful heroes, as we've already seen throughout the day.
Right, yeah. I mean, I think it speaks for itself too when they have Dante in the roster. Of course, an exceptional DPS player when he played DPS in the Overwatch League and then switched to the tank role. And the tank very much fits his playstyle right now. And I'm excited to see how Luminosity do. Coming later in the competition. I think King has been an exceptional player in the past. He played on the Vancouver Titans. Dante's a historied name, and a lot of players that have had this top level experience, they're not going to be too phased, especially this early on in the competition, but maybe Citrus Nation can throw them a little bit of a curveball. I mean, you're going to be so high on your team right now if you just come off of a win against LFO. A bloodthirsty win, but a win nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said about being an underdog heading into a game like that. But they are going up against what you already said, very experienced players. They know how to handle a W. They can recover from a map loss. They do not scramble that easily. And not only do they, of course, have those players, they also do have like an Hunter on the coaching bench. Like, this is going to be a real difficult uphill battle for the Citrus Nation.
Yeah, it is. And map vetoes is something obviously we're just going to get into now, but something that RuPaul was speaking to earlier. So I'm curious if we're going to see any crazy changes. I'm disappointed a little bit that we're not seeing more King's Row already. I know we're on game number 2, but please a little bit more.
What do you mean? King's Row? Midtown is like King's Row light. If you squint really hard and you think that you're halfway around the world, so you know. Yeah,
I mean, sure. I think it's definitely one of my favorite hybrid maps, so I'll take it over Kings. But we are going to Samoa as the first map. Samoa's been fairly interesting too in terms of what kind of comps you can play, but they're just going to be playing fast here. Luminosity, especially with Dante in the roster, I would imagine a little bit of Doomfist here, but Dante can play literally anything under the sun. One of the more flexible players in Overwatch history, really. And then Colosseo is going to be the map after Midtown. That'll be LG's choice. So will we go to a map number 4? I think, honestly, possibly we can. I think this might be the first map 4, at least on NA today.
I think it's really important to point out, though, that Luminosity is Maryville Esports. Like, it is Maryville University's collegiate team. And that means that this squad is coming in not only with the name recognition that they have on the roster, but also with a huge history of working together already for a couple of semesters in university. So this is going to be a really big test of strength here for Citrus Nation to see whether or not that win over LFO yesterday is, can it be repeated?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing to hit on, Rose. I think you hit the nail on the head. They are practice already. They're drilled. They've been playing together for a long time. And, you know, if you got a mullet like Hunter's, like, that's some extra power.
That is powerful.
An extra 10%. Exactly. Although last time I spoke to him, I don't think he had that much of a mullet. I'll have to get a mullet check from Hunter a little bit later on. But we are going to Samoa as our first map. Yeah, Citrus Nation. They got a tall order ahead of them. But, you know, there are some maybe some hidden gems, some hidden superstars on the team that maybe a lot of the wider Overwatch audience aren't as familiar with.
I think you have to look at the DPS lineup for that reason. Tap and Manually were the two DPS players that played versus that match in LFO. And what really stood out to me by watching that match is that Manually on the Cassidy just had some really dominant performances, was able to get some first picks onto LFO, which really opened up those team fights and had consistent damage download, so that you were always going to be able to follow that up with a really nice pick in the backline by Tap's Tracer. So will they be able to bring out the Tracer here? It does look like so, with just that quick Symmetra TP out, and then more of the same from what we saw from their match yesterday versus LFO.
Yeah, I really like this comp with the Cavs.
Look at that!
Oh my
What did I say? What did I say?
Okay. Juby, sit down. Manually taken over already. I like what I'm seeing. Cassie's just so deadly in the right hands at the moment. It is a nuts. Good first fight from Citrus Nation. Easy point cap.
Yeah, like the Ramasher from Zeb too is another big standout for this team. Not only is Zeb really good at leading a charge, but look at how easily Manually opened up that fight, and Zeb's like, yeah, okay, let's go. Like, I've got the shield, I've got the fancy footwork, we're going in. And so now we're gonna see Luminosity come back into this one, but with a couple of changes as well.
It's like, hold your horses, don't go too quick. Oh, okay. Tap got attacked. Nice little body shot straight into a headshot there. Insta-kill on the Tracer from the Ashe. I would much prefer the Casty here, but if you put in this much work with the Dynamite too, I definitely thought Ashe was going to be a better DPS pick, especially with the new DPS passive, since the Dynamite can hit so many people at once and apply that healing reduction. Seems like Ashe was going to be a monster. Feels like Casty maybe just beating her a little bit in terms of her DPS, but if you're doing what Vision's doing right now, taking care of that Tracer, you're more than free to just kind of vibe in the background and just send shot after shot. It'll be Luminosity taking the point back, 45% now, and Luminosity playing super far up. I also really like this too. Playing with those bubbles, King knows they can overextend a little bit with that a little small bit of invulnerability with those bubbles up.
Yeah, you get the recall too if you want, and just the pulse pistol to be able to lay down some fire. Ooh. But take a look at the high noon. Is it noon?
That was cheeky. Very cheeky from Ping, trying to get the highest of high pulse bombs there, dropping on the Manually. Didn't end up working out, but here comes the rushes. And now Vision's going to be in a little bit of trouble. Nice little Suzu there, but Zeb just trying to find an entrance into the fight, but you don't need to. When you're Ram, just folding your arms, sitting there, waiting for the rest of your team to kill people. You just need that annihilation just continuously ticking. That's an easy fight from Citrus Nation. They regain control of that point, and Vision going down pretty late into that fight. It's going to cost Luminosity just a little bit here. I'm wondering if Vision's going to switch off this Ashe. Doesn't look like they're going to. Staying on it, not a bad choice, I think. Dynamite into the grab. It's pretty a deadly combo.
Yeah, and sadly you did use the Bob there, but Bob did get a little bit of a buff, which makes Ashe just a little bit more impactful when it comes down to the ultimate. But with that Graviton Surge ready to go, Dante's just looking for an opening to lay that down, especially when you would want to maybe catch Zeb off guard or that backline.
Well, they're definitely going to wait for the Ram form to disappear before they try anything. Dante trying to get a little bit of energy there. Throws out the grab, and yeah, that's rough. Didn't hit absolutely anybody. Citrus Nation, 90%, and they don't have to worry about a grab now, so they just beat straight in. Jacob responds with a beat of their own, and now it's up to King with a pulse bomb. Nice little stick, but that Suzu is insane. Z-Man comes up massive, saving the tank and the Lucio from the detonation from the pulse bomb, and now King is in trouble. No blinks left, retreats back to the rest of their team, and manually rips the head off of Vision. A early rush here from Z-Man, and Squid just trying to catch up with a rush of their own, but they're 3% away, and his teammates are just falling apart around them. And a high noon, a little bit of zone in there, but an extra kill for Manually. Just absolutely lights out on the Cassidy. 4 kills to finish off the round as Citrus Nation coming out with a big win.
Thank you, Manually, for giving us a great showcase for what I was saying before we got into this match. Thank you so much.
It was nice when they pay it off for you.
Yeah, he's so good though, right? Like you can't help but look at a player like this and have to think about how are you going to counterpick that. Is it going to be the long-range Ashe? Is it going to be King trying to get a little bit closer with something like the Tracer? It's a really tough call because Manually is very good at circulating through those cooldowns, whether it's going to be the mag grenade to help create some space or just using it to land a huge stick. It's very, very cool to watch this player perform on this level.
Yeah, it looks like Luminosity are going to be sticking with the same thing, just Dante on the Zarya. Of course, when we're seeing Toronto define a little bit earlier on, executing on the Cassidy can be quite difficult, but if you will just go for this kind of dive comp, you can do that pretty easily. You just can't let Manually just get away with murder, and that's currently what they're letting him get away with. We'll see if Luminosity Gaming can make use of this space now. Vision's got a lot more kind of room to work with the long-range Ashe, but Cassidy is still going to put a decent amount of fire down range. He's not really going to suffer from too much fall-off, especially, to be fair, if he's this close. Vision does end up falling. Zeb picks up a big kill, and once again, Citrus Nation coming out on top in this first fight.
I mean, look at that. That's just such a big opening pick. Jacob does get taken down, so there's a little bit less mobility on the table here for Citrus Nation, but if you're just going to be able to clean up the rest of the fight, doesn't really matter, does it? A huge control now being taken over here on this point, and that percentage is going to start to rack up. Manually is already close to that high noon as well, and on this map, it feels even more impactful because of how many open sightlines you have.
Yeah, it's tough to really escape from the high noon, especially if you're trying to get around the point as well.
Yeah.
You kind of separate yourself from the rest of the team, and yeah, you might be in cover, but then Citrus Nation kind of cascade upon you and dish out some mean damage. Dante holding onto those bubbles just for the time being, and well, there's Zeb going a little bit low at least. You just need a bit of extra follow-up. Vision putting some shots down range, but you are still shooting into armor with a ram crossing their arms. Tap gets the better of King in the 1v1, and Citrus Nation still coming out on top. And with this rush, yeah, Dante had to run for the hills, but there's no running from Tap. Triple blink onto the Zarya, insta-kill, and another fight win for Citrus Nation, and they only ripped one off.
Yeah, just the Kitsune rush, and you still have so much else to work with. That sound barrier is going to be really impactful as well because Jacob's going to have that online before Juby if they can continue to keep up with this damage output. But look at where Tap is sitting, waiting in the wings right now, trying to land this pulse bomb on the back line.
Nice little emerald weapons as well. Don't mind that whatsoever.
Definitely been grinding.
He's already super low. All right. Manually does it again. Nice little chase here from Tap, and yeah, double blink melee. Juby is dead, and a team full of veterans right now kind of getting toppled by Citrus Nation. 85% last fight. You go down here, you're not going to be participating. Dante's close to his first grab. It is 90%.
Does he even get it online, though, before somebody gets taken down on Luminosity? You got to get back to this point as well.
His positioning is super nice as well from Manually. He can activate this high noon down in the slow ground. Okay, decides to join the rest of his team. I was thinking, do something rather cheeky, but there's the high noon. Dante's going to have to bubble that one, but no, double bubble and Suzu just to save Dante's life. Bob, Grav, everything has to be thrown in right now for Luminosity to keep themselves up. Sound barrier onto the high ground. Manually stays alive. Bob ends up getting taken down by the man, and now Luminosity Gaming tumbling onto the point. There you go. There is the flip. They finally make it work after using every single ultimate they had. Juby now with a sound barrier to survive them through this next fight, but they made that one rather close.
I mean, what a nice opening for Dante to find, though, with the Grav, just to be able to toss it down at Zeb's feet. You took a huge piece out of the equation for Citrus Nation with just all of that bulk. And now with the sound barrier, it's a great answer when you know that Z-Man's going to be working up to that Kitsune rush rather quickly.
Yeah, this rush, I think that's what they're just waiting for right now. Take a little bit of poke damage there to charge that a little bit quicker, and there it is, completely online. Reset the cooldowns, run it down. They know Squid hasn't got his, so there you go. Press the go button at this point. Uh-oh, someone's in a little bit of trouble. There's Vision. There's the Suzu. Heard it go out. The sound barrier just in time. Vision was 1 HP. Thought he was going to go down to the blink melee there, but a late sound barrier from Juby, kind of baiting Citrus Nation in, knowing that they'd advance pretty rapidly on their backline using that Kitsune rush. But it's LG just standing tall right now. Dante at 100 charge on that Zarya beam. And they're going to continue to hold the point. 60%. Couple more fights, and the round will be LG's.
Well, 2 fights ago was a very expensive fight for Luminosity. They have already worked up to other tools, so the sound barrier, perfectly timed by Juby there to keep the team alive. And now you've got this Kitsune Rush as well as the Bob. An extra member in this fight can be pivotal just to be able to force Citrus Nation into fighting on your own terms.
That was some nice damage on Vision there. Almost went down to a little Vortex going out from Zeb. There's the rush. Okay. Shouldn't need too many ults. No, especially with Jacob going down. You want to make this last fight for Luminosity. Do they end up pushing? They've got ult. There's the grab. Hits 3. And there is no point running now. The Bob 2. If anybody wants to touch the point, you're going to get through. You're going to have to get through the world's most pleasant butler. OT, maybe tap touches, not going to happen. And there you go, sheer tenacity from Luminosity Gaming. A complete turnaround, a 99 to 100% flip from Luminosity. And they tie Samoa up, 1 apiece.
That was a really close round. I thought Citrus Nation was going to be able to run away with that one until we saw a huge turnaround by Luminosity. Just great timing of those ultimates. Finally got some value out of, even though you have to kind of throw everything in the kitchen sink at that one, it still paid off, and they were able to work up to some other neat pieces of that kit. It's looking really good so far, though. Jaws, this is turning out to be a really great first map.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for much more than that after we saw a clean sweep on game number 1 from Toronto Defiant. Yeah, it was a really nice comeback there from Luminosity. I think Citrus Nation ended up just getting caught off guard and off kilter too in terms of their ultimates and their pacing. It was a really nice turnaround. The fight that they needed to win was the fight where they used their Kitsune Rush, and then Juby answered with a sound barrier much later. Managed to hit 5 when they were all super low, and by the time Citrus Nation managed to get onto the back line, the beat had already landed. Over health galore, and then you can just run over a team that had basically used all of their abilities. They used all their they used their Vortex, they used their Ram shift, they used pretty much everything in their kit to try and execute on the back line, and Juby just completely countered them. Just very nice pacing from Luminosity Gaming. And yeah, we are just in a brief pause. Of course, we'll get back into the game in just a moment, but yeah, a fantastic start to the series so far, and a lot of superstars that need to get built up a little bit here too. And it's an exciting time, I think, in the Overwatch esports space, where we have players that might not be as well known, and I think manually is kind of making a name for themselves already. Okay, on the Cassie, I'm liking what I'm saying so far.
Yeah, I think that's something that Luminosity has absolutely identified as a pain point for their game plan, is manually in that backline. One of the ways that Luminosity can get the leg up on a player like manually is just by collapsing on him, which is really difficult to do when you've got Zeb creating so much space. You've got Jacob and Z-Man that are able to help to support that backline and peel when manually needs that attention. And then Tap has just been super self-sustainable. So it's been amazing to sort of watch this team flourish, and this is what we love about that open environment that we have here for the new Overwatch esports ecosystem. We get to see breakout performances like this.
Exactly that. Yeah, it's good. Seeing a stacked roster in terms of Luminosity Gaming, and like you mentioned, a team that's been well practiced and well drilled already for Maryville. I like how Dante's pictures also Tracer still a DPS player at heart, of course.
I would. I think like you'll always have that, right? But I think one of the things that made that really cool about the way that Dante utilized that knowledge in Overwatch League and just in the collegiate scene now as well is the fact that it gives you so much respect and so much just extra attention to detail when it comes down to how you can utilize your tank to help support those roles. Like as a DPS player, what would you want to see out of the tank that you're playing with, or how can you help to sort of facilitate that, you know?
Yeah, I'm also curious if they're going to end up swapping their comms too. I like Zarya for Dante, for sure. And it's been interesting to see the different meta developments over the different regions. If anybody's watching OWCS Korea right now, a lot of Cassidy. And will Vision stick on the Cass? Not entirely sure. We're just going to get back into the game. Looks like Citrus Nation, yeah. So it looks like Jacob potentially a little DC, but all good. They are back in it. They're back in it to win it as we go to our third stage on Samoa.
Okay, so this is where I would expect to see some more heavy brawl action. with how close quarters this point can be and how much space there is on that point, you can run head first as a Zarya or a Ramatra into the enemy team and probably get some really good results out of that. But can they figure out how to actually lock down this Cassidy in the backline? Luminosity figured that out on that second round, but can they repeat the success here?
Yeah, a bit more of an interesting point in terms of like architecture here. I like the way Citrus Nation are playing just up on high ground, but just reminds me of City Center on Oasis. It's going to take a little while before the point gets capped, I'd imagine. Unless Citrus Nation have anything to do with it, it seems, as Zeb just dashing on forward, using that Ramatra form to push Dante back. Forcing the bubbles is super important against the Zarya comp. You know, sometimes you just got to burst the bubbles to get rid of them as quick as you can to leave Zarya vulnerable. That's kind of what they've been doing here. Zarya might be high charge at that point, but it's a sitting duck, especially with that health bar and no armor too. Worth keeping in mind, but yeah, here we go. Big stall fest.
Ooh, but look,
just an old Juby.
Yeah, Tap is just sort of marking that Lucio in the back, even though Vision's going to be able to get a little bit of a respite there. He's still going to mark these Lucios.
Uh-oh, Zeb in a little bit of trouble to Z. They end up taking down Squid. Trades just backwards and forwards, but King should be able to clean up here, yeah. Especially with Dante being alive, just applying the bubbles to King over and over again. It makes you feel invincible as a Tracer. You can go in, spend an extra couple of seconds, and that's sometimes all that you need, especially with how powerful Tracer is right now.
Yeah, but you can see that damage passive also coming in clutch there as Vision just continued to get a shot every couple of seconds into Zeb, meant that healing was going to be mitigated just ever so slightly so that Zeb would be able to get taken down. But now, Citrus Nation have ults to work with. They're coming back in with a Kitsune rush.
Nice Suzu. I like the Suzu there, then into the rush, so you refresh that cooldown rather quickly. Dante in a little bit of trouble, however. Where did Bob go? Just evaporated.
Space.
Okay, well, that's unfortunate, but more importantly, Luminosity still have control of the point. Dante waiting for everybody to funnel in to launch that grab out. High noon, though, from Manually, getting sped up by Jacob. Now a little bit of a different angle was Dante. Yes, spots Manually a little bit out of position, throws a post on top. King with a double with the pulse, finishes Tap up with a couple of extra bullets. A nice team kill from Luminosity. 65% in building now as they try and play up.
Jaws, I don't know about you, and I've missed the days of seeing a good old grab pulse.
The bigger bang.
It's a great combo with just so many throwbacks for me. But Luminosity, they got firm control of this point right now. They got the sound barriers, a great response to this annihilation here from Zeb. Feels like Luminosity coming up all gold right now.
Yeah, good speed boost into backline. You want to try and end this fight quick, sharp, and that's exactly what they're going to do here.
All right, Tap.
Just a few, just one speed. That's all you need, really. Especially with the annihilation. That's pretty tough to run away from, and Manually's going to clean house. Luminosity, you're still going to be feeling pretty happy about that fight. You're not going to spend too much extra time. Okay, Manually, showing off a little bit now. Love to see it. But you are resetting fairly quickly. You have 88%, and you get that annihilation, that massive ult from Citrus Nation out there.
Yeah, Luminosity's not stressed about this one. You still have the sound barrier that you can use here now as an aggressive tool to try to re-engage the point, and you just have to worry about Tap. Tap is going to be harassing that backline, so as long as you've got Dante to be able to peel back, or even just Juby to try to get Squid away, this is going to be fine here for Luminosity.
King trying to set his team up for success. Same goes for Tap, I'd imagine, with that pulse. They got to know King is behind them currently. It's going to be up to Z and Jacob really to be careful. Looks like Tap kind of has an idea of where King is. Nice damage onto Juby there, but should get healed up pretty quickly. Squid's going to push the first ultimate of the game. Same with Z. They're also going to lay out their own road. Nice damage onto Zeb, and there comes the high noon, but finally he's going to have to receive a high noon of his own. Oh, somehow, some way, threaded the needle through the middle of the point. Okay, we take those. Quick resets here for Luminosity. Pulse bomb grab. The combo is up and available. It's going to be up to Zed. They have to land a good Suzu here to stop that damage coming in.
Yeah, wombo combo, no sound barrier here. So as you said, it's all down to the Kiriko to be able to cleanse away all of that damage. Tap still has this pulse bomb as well, so maybe another way to weave an opening in, but Dante wants to hit this all and fast.
I mean, look at that. Just Manually, that's all you really need. Pulse bomb, wait for the Suzu. There's the stick. There's the damage. King comes up with two. Squid with an extra one there as well. Still effective fairly even fight, though. There's no healers on the time of Citrus Nation, but Zeb just needs to hold on. Annihilation's coming up in just a moment. If they can get the reset of the Nemesis form, they might be able to stay alive before the supports come back. Z and Jacob making their way just in time. No, Zeb ends up falling over. The supports have made it, but there was little to no heals for the tank, and Citrus Nation now just trying to hold on. A decent point to do that, but against a Bob, the auto aim might be a little bit too much for them. Manually caught out of position, and with 99%, Citrus Nation have one more attempt now as Luminosity find the flip.
Tab's going to be waiting to try to get a touch as the rest of Luminosity move forward. Want to keep Citrus from getting there, but Manuel is actually going to go to the Sojourn, so just a little bit more mobility to try to power slide in to the point, but that's overtime here. Luminosity want to clutch this one out. Tsune Rush?
Got Rush, she lets it go. Here's OT, jumping straight into the back line manually. All right, quick switch on to the Sojourn, I like it. You just need one headshot, you need one pick to get the ball rolling in your favor. Luminosity, they cannot let this point go. But a later rush, Dante, 1 HP. There was too much damage flung in his way. He was trying to body block for the rest of his team, but there were no bubbles to help him survive the oncoming onslaught. And Citrus Nation, now they're one person up. Luminosity need to find a big stick. They need King to come up clutch. Dante dropping over to the Doomfist, but there's no pulse bomb kill in sight. And now it's up to Tap to try and turn this one around. Citrus Nation holding on to this one, and there's Tap with the kill. Vision and Squid end up falling over, and Luminosity Gaming only have 3 people on the point. And it's Citrus Nation's game to lose here as they just finish off King. Dante, 1 HP. The sound barrier comes in just in time, but where's the backup? Where's the damage? Where's the support for Dante? They managed to keep themselves up in time, but no. It is manually with a kill onto Dante to finally finish them off. Juby, is he going to be able to stay alive? It doesn't look like it, but a nice Susu from Squid keeps them in this. They are somehow continuing this fight.
Scrappy! The sound barrier as well to sustain alive here for Citrus Nation. I just mean they're able to close out the fight here, but reinforcements from Luminosity are still trickling back.
Okay, Dante has made his way back to the fight for the 4th time. Ramantra, Ultimate, Annihilation. Surely they don't live through this one. Surely. Vision finds 2 in the mugs of it, and Dante is stuck. Someone kill Dante, please. A team kill and a wipe. LG find the flip and the map. What was that ending from Luminosity?
That was amazing. That was just absolutely amazing. Dante stayed alive for so long in those final moments, and you gotta give so much credit to how much work he's put into that. Doomfist, that was a hero that he was able to show up with in such a big way when we saw him at the highest levels of competitive Overwatch, and all of that practice paid off. Dividends, power block, amazing. So much shield, so much overhealth. Wow.
Someone please kill Coolmat. Someone please kill Dante. He survived for too long. And then Vision getting those 2 kills too, getting the Bob at the very end. Bob helped out immensely. Okay, someone replay that fight. How long was that? That was at least 2 minutes, that
had to have been.
That was ridiculous. I mean, Citrus Nation proving that they're a real competitor as well. I mean, Luminosity Gaming, they are nothing to scoff at. They have unbelievable amounts of experience, both in the Overwatch League and as a team together. And Citrus Nation proving that, you know what, sometimes we can mess with the best.
Yeah, I mean, LFO, also not a team that is a slouch team. Like, they're full of also star-studded potential.
Right.
And so Citrus Nation is just continuing to prove to everybody that they are a force to be reckoned with. This is a team that everybody has to keep their eyes on. And especially with that backline, you can't let them go uncontested.
Yeah, making it scrappy like this, I'm here for it. They went to a map number 5 against LFO the other day, and that was a back and forth, literally. They take a map, LFO takes a map, back and forth, back and forth. And maybe that happens here too. I mean, that final fight could have gone anybody's way. But as we go into map number 2, we'll see if everybody can kind of rest, kind of calm down, cool out just a little bit, maybe go get a drink of water or something. We are going to jump to a quick break. Map number 2 coming up soon. You're not going to want to miss it. We are back. Luminosity Gaming. They got a couple of subs. Everybody, PB overheating maybe. False coming in. And Lucamino as well. Juby and Dante taking a little backseat for this next one. We are going to Midtown, so it's going to be our hybrid. And yeah, Rose, that was the most insane thing I've ever seen. That's good. Honestly, great. I love a good dogfight. I love a good scrap fest. I love just people just swinging, throwing haymakers, just going at it. At the very end, I mean, gonna need to watch that a couple more times to really truly understand what exactly went down, to be very honest with you. But if we keep having that in the next couple of maps, I am here for it.
I'm
Midtown
looking forward.
selected by Citrus Nation, and of course Colosseo after that. But yeah, hybrid up next, Rose.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to all of the 5-head content we're going to get from people breaking down the final fight, because I think we all need a little bit of a slow-mo replay of those final moments. But as we look forward to our next map in the series, Midtown, looking specifically at the substitutions that Luminosity Gaming has made, we actually saw them make these swaps yesterday as well when they headed to Midtown versus Bang Bang Pow. So it was False coming in to play the Sigma, and then we also ended up having Lucamino in to play the Baptiste, and it looks like we're getting more of the same of that as we take a look at their defensive comp. The same stuff as we saw.
Right. Yeah, I really like the Sigma on this map. I think it's fantastic. And I think with Zen too, I think Zen's really interesting. I think Lucio's still better than Zen currently, but if you can slow the game down enough, Zen just becomes an absolute powerhouse in terms of damage, especially with the changes to the projectile sizes, of course. But we're going to roll out the gates. They're going to open up and manually, actually on the Sojourn this time around. Don't mind that whatsoever. If your aim is as crisp and clean with the Cass, I mean, the Soj is going to be even more deadly, I'd imagine. Have to wait and see. They're going to want to play this one fast, though, Rose.
They really will. I mean, look at how quickly they're swarming that point.
Yeah, nice little rock there from False, just to sway them at least for the time being. Taking the mega health pack room here will be their imperative, at least for the time being. False is going to have to play 2 different games here, trying to stop Z from like crossing, also trying to poke the point out as well. And Squid is sitting all the way at the back. Squid with a nice little rotation into that big archway, and as soon as Citrus Nation flood onto the point, they just get picked apart there.
Yeah, gonna go all the way back to spawn for now. But I think that Zenyatta pick really pays off in dividends here. You're trying to slow down the pace of this game, because what Citrus Nation want to do is they just want to rush into you. That's like why you've got the Lucio for the speed, the Ramatra to just help try to soak up a ton of that damage. And if you have the Zenyatta, it makes you think twice if you're a Citrus Nation about whether or not you can actually move in. Who's that Discord Orb on? Do you have the cooldowns to be able to actually help reflect a lot of that damage?
Oh, there's the push. Zeb, Jacob, and the rest of the squad just trying to run down Squid, but still Squid taking names and numbers right now. They've swapped sides, almost, but you'd favour the Sig comp in this instance for sure. They've still got the Lucio, they've got Squid in their sights. Eventually, he pays the price for playing the Zen, but not after. A lot of Citrus Nation get torn apart here. That rock narrowly avoiding Z, but King cleans them up. Another scrappy fight. I mean, why not? Just throw the flux in. You missed. That's rough. All good. There is some pressure on the point currently as False remains on at that high ground. And would that be a free tick? Tab is going to get, yeah. I mean, why not? You just got to rush down False at this point. They've used the hands. They've used the rock. The shields are gone, and there it is. Okay, Citrus Nation, they're going to get point A.
I mean, False using the ultimate there, just trying to buy some time for the rest of the team to come back, but you're so close to just capturing the point anyway.
Nice little bob. Yeah, they tried. I mean, valiant effort putting that window down and have Lucamino and Squid sit behind the window and kind of dominate, put the bob on the point. Real nice stuff, but Citrus Nation kind of had their number there. It was just a speed through the window, take down the support to kind of chill in behind it. Because they got no speed, there's no chance they run away. 3 and a bit minutes to go. They open the doors. The payload gets a rolling.
Yeah, it's a good isolation of picks. Like Citrus Nation, something that they really excelled at is just being able to call out a target and then target focus. So you see Fall sitting by himself. That seems like a very easy pickings. And with this Sigma, this is a hero that is relatively mobile. You have the opportunity without the Lucio in tow to just walk into an enemy on Luminosity and take them out. There's really few ways to actually get out of there.
Lucamino went pretty low there. That pulse one getting thrown out by King. Narrowly avoided The Citrus Nation just managed to dodge out the way, but Tap gets caught out just out in the open. Vision did a little bit of cheeky damage, going down to low ground, used that coach going back up to high, but Citrus Nation, they got Sound Barrier, they can just run into them. They know False doesn't have the ultimate. There comes the... Okay, well, Zeb just walks into death, and Squid right-clicks manually. All right, and there you go. There's the end of that push.
Just take a couple steps back now. At the very least, if you're Citrus Nation, you can start to figure out some ways to get back into this one. I'm actually surprised to see that Manually wants to switch off of a Sojourn in this case, only because I felt like you were still able to get some really nice picks, but the Ashe also makes a lot of sense, knowing that Vision is also running an Ashe of his own. So now you've got two Bobs to contend against each other. You're also still clean with it, so I just don't think it matters what Manually is playing at all.
Yep, still clean with the shots. Annihilation available in this Suave. Oh my god, okay, Manually putting everybody to rest right now. Double DPS down. I mean, the Bob's out, right? So technically a 5v5, maybe. I don't think the Bob's doing all too much, though, to be very honest with you. Even Manually, with the disadvantage being on the low ground, is still dishing out a lot of work. Sound Barrier from Jacob, not enough to save Zeb, who got fluxed up into the skies, but Manually is just a monster on this hit scan. God, if he got that flick on the head there, I think I would have lost my mind.
That's just skeet shooting right there. Yeah, he's just in a shooting gallery right now. But Vision finally able to get a little bit of revenge. This cart is so close to that second checkpoint, though. And Citrus Nation are just a couple of ultimates away from being able to break through that defense. They've got the Kitsune Rush that can open up a ton of corridors for them, and with the Pulse Bomb as well, Tap has been able to land these onto several different targets, so I think that there's potential there to just open up the fight. But Zeb, they're just, look at the pace that Citrus Nation is setting!
Oh my god! Alright, reset. Reset, you got one more fight left. Zeb. Yeah, the Archangels took him away there. That's rough.
It's all right. They've got time. See, this is the benefit that comes with trying to take these fights super fast. Tap, I don't know why you were there. I think just...
Yeah, I think Tap was just trying to hide out for the moment, wait for his team to come back, but I think Luminosity Gaming kind of had the right idea, just force that recall and just force Tap's position, force their hand. Well, we're in the last fight. This has been so scrappy. I love it. 35 seconds to go, Rose. It's a rough one.
Well, Manually could open up a pick here. This has been a dime a dozen for Manually just to get another headshot. The Bob could come online very quickly, but they know. Luminosity know. They can't let Manually get away with it.
There we go. Triple blink. Stick on the back line. Hit the post. Oh, there's the stick. There's the lamb from Lucamino, and Squid has already killed Jacob. They're going to try and push up into this high ground, but Manually desperately needs this Bob. And King's killed Tap. It's 3 people right now from Citrus Nation in this small corridor, and Luminosity know it. There's the Bob, but it's not on the point, and in fact... well, no one from Citrus Nation is actually near the point, as Luminosity Gaming halt the payload in the car wash.
Still a valiant effort, but major credit to Luminosity there for holding the high ground and holding that defense.
Yeah, that's hey, that's what happens. If you go fast, sometimes you go a little too fast, you overheat, the engines go a little sputtery, and then, you know, it catches on fire. Maybe that's what was happening there. They were trying to play the game really quickly, and that's what you should do against a Zen and BAP comp. You want to run at them. You want to force that, you want to force the lamp, and then just jump on the Zen. Look, he's got his kick now. He can kick people away, but when you've got 5 people descending on top of you, it's pretty hard to do much about it. But Lucamino and Squid just showing up massive in the back line, just being able to stay alive.
Yeah, they did nerf Zed's kick a little bit, like just a touch. They had to tune him down just a little, but still super impactful. Orb of Discord gives you so much explosive potential. You can just burst down an opponent, especially with these HP changes. That feels
I don't know why they nerfed
more
him.
Influential. What do you mean you don't know why they nerfed him?
That's crazy. They should give him 2 kicks because he has 2 legs.
Oh, and he also like doesn't walk, so technically you could kick at the same time.
You could kick at the same.
Kick forward with both legs.
Wait a second, we're geniuses.
Yes.
Right, Vision. Sneaking a headshot through. Yeah, no one has peeked that angle since the beta.
But could you imagine?
Yeah,
But what if
then
it's
I would have
this
eaten my
time?
words and a hat. Exactly. There's always a chance that someone does peek that cheeky angle. Bit of a change, I will say, bit of a change out from Luminosity here. Just playing Squid on the Curie, so a lot of healing output coming through from Luminosity. They forced that lamp super early too, which is really nice. So he's going to have to play a little bit more careful. Same with the rest of their team, as Citrus Nation do end up backing straight up to the point. So much free space allotted to Luminosity Gaming right now, as False just charging up his ultimate. Just going to waylay Zeb for the time being, but all right, Squid just doing their own thing. Sure, why not?
Well, you know, if you're able to get those shots in with the Zenyatta, why not on the Kiriko either? But that is going to be a very quick objective claim here for Luminosity, opening up the payload and adding a ton of time. Jaws, they have a lot to work with now to be able to make to the little box of victory that they've got there. That's like, yeah, that's 5 minutes.
That was a quick cap. That was an extremely quick cap. And now she caps the high ground. That's all you need to do. Yeah, Squid right now is just playing on an off angle with King, exactly where you want to be as Kiri. And then just leaves Lucamino to kind of heal up.
Oh, he's gonna die.
You don't want to be there. 1 HP? Okay.
He's dead.
Yeah, that was almost telegraphed there. Yeah, Lucamino's like, yeah, if you want to come out and punch me, sure. There's like 5 other people, 16 other people looking at you, bro. So.
There's so much snowball potential here, though, right? Like,
and they get high ground with the Sig, and they have window.
Yeah, the high. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's rough. Tap needs to come up massive here with a pulse of their own.
This is gonna be a tough one for Citrus Nation. Like, yes, Tap has the pulse bomb, but how are you gonna weave that in when you've got False's head that's been on a swivel with those secretions and just so
Suzu.
Suzu
And immortality field.
Deal with it.
Oh, dynamite through the window. Love to see that. Someone else has payload though. It's probably on tap to do that. King has been pushing this entire time, and there you go. Little Tracer duel. Not so much an even Tracer duel as Zeb ends up joining the fight. And Vision has found the flank. Nice coach gun kill. No health pack for you, and no map for you either. Luminosity Gaming, they take the map and take match point as well. 2-0 currently for Luminosity. Citrus Nation, they're trying to play a little bit more scrappy. That one a little bit more formulaic from Luminosity. Quick cap on point A. Easy as you like, pushing it forward. What, 5 minutes and 15 seconds? You got all the time in the world to get it there.
Yeah, even if it wasn't going to be that one push, then you still have enough time to get through like 2 full rotations of ultimates.
Right.
So it's like, what are the odds when you stack all that probability up against each other? Math I don't want to do in broadcast, but it's all coming up in good fortune here for Luminosity. Citrus Nation, though, I think this is a map type that they struggled with yesterday. Like, I think just with these longer range sightlines, I don't know how well this Ramatra Rush comp can always fare when you've got such open sights to work with. It's tough. Yeah,
it was really tough. Yeah, I really like the Sigma on these kind of maps because you can just kind of play back, and when you've got such an ironclad backline with Lucamino and Squid on just really high damage supports too with the BAP and the Zen, it's really tough. You really have to just get in there and get on top of the Zen. They were just never really able to do that. We are going to Colosseo, so we're probably not going to see the Sig here, although we could do. I mean, you can still hold high ground with Colosseo, notorious for the high grounds, but we'll have to wait and see, of course. I mean, honestly, with how scrappy it's been, it's really nice to see people like Manually coming up rather large on the Ashe, Soj, on the Cassidy, of course, too. It's really nice to see some of these more unknown players, especially compared to players like Dante on the side of Luminosity Gaming. It's really nice to see those players come up big. And yeah, I mean, we'll see what they can do on Colosseo. It was Luminosity's map pick too, so you can imagine they're going to feel rather confident coming into this one.
I think so, and I think that Luminosity, especially on Midtown, is able to show off why their roster is as versatile as it is. Being able to make those player swaps so flawlessly and be able to execute the game plan that they are confident and comfortable with on a map like Midtown. And I actually wouldn't be too surprised to see swaps happen again as we take a look at the next map coming up for us.
Yep, it is going to be Colosseo. If we can go to a 4th map, it will be Suravasa, and that was, of course, Citrus pick, as you can see by the little graphic there. And, oh yeah, so they did bang New Queen Street as well, and yeah, Colosseo is definitely the map of all time. We'll see if Luminosity end up switching out any of the rosters too. Of course, we'll have that information in just a moment. We're going to go to a quick break. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. Oh, no break.
Just kidding.
I lied. Baited. That was my fault. That wasn't prods. That was just me. Yeah, so it does look like we are having a few substitutions here from Luminosity.
Yep.
Sounds like just getting confirmation now. And yeah, it's Dante and Juby back in. So not going to see the Sigma, I'd imagine. It's going to be Lucio. Juby pretty famous for that one.
Yeah, Lucio, Zarya. This is what we saw from Luminosity in their match yesterday. I know we didn't get a chance to broadcast it, but shout out to all the amazing co-streamers that we have had in order to broadcast all of that action. And so when taking a look at that match, I did see Dante Juby actually get subbed back in for push, and it's just to be able to have like the Lucio, like so important when you take a look at a map type like that.
Yeah, most definitely. I will say I'm a little bit disappointed I'm not seeing Dante's Doomfist because that is a nasty. But I do think the Zarya is a little bit better. We'll see how Citrus Nation, of course, end up stacking up against them. You could. I definitely think you could. I just think the Zarya is better in terms of like just the raw damage output and the ability to support your DPS a little bit more too with the bubbles. You see how Dante is super conservative with his, doesn't really want to use it on himself, more than happy to apply it to King so he can add some extra pressure into the backline. Oh, and of course, co-streaming applications are now open too, so follow the link down there, or I think you can probably find it on the Overwatch Esports Twitter as well if you want to be a part of the co-streaming action that's been going down. Yeah, it's also been really great, especially yesterday, Rose, when we didn't have that official broadcast, to see a lot of the co-streamers come up, and it was nice to sit in people's chats and just mess around while the games are happening.
It was so meta.
It was a good time. It was so meta yesterday.
Meta it was. Like,
yes.
I saw Costa watching like Ewong stream, vice versa, or like
I have never seen so many streams layered on top of each other in my life. There were like
so
5
funny.
Streams layered on top of each other, and the gameplay was just getting smaller and smaller and smaller to the point where I'm like, who am I watching? What's going on? It was ridiculous.
It was great.
It was a lot of good fun, to be fair.
It was honestly great. And I'm so happy that we get a chance to have these co-streams alongside the broadcast that we have here, of course. So you can go figure out and chill with your favorite streamers, favorite players, all that jazz. Players are also streaming, which is also super awesome. So if you want to check out any of the single player POVs, they also have the opportunity to stream their gameplay too. So might give you some really nice insight onto the comms that are happening, what is going 100%. Through these teams' heads.
We just waiting on one player to connect to the lobby, and then we'll be into this next map in just a moment. Of course, a little bit later on, Rose, we do have M80 versus Timeless, which is going to be an absolute giga banger. So if you want to take a little break now, or as we just wait for this player, you can quickly go get some water and rehydrate yourself. But as we go into Colosseo, I want to see Dante on Doom. Is it going to happen? Probably not, but it is nice to also cast Dante again, that is for sure. It does look like we're going to a quick break though. I'm just getting word. We're just waiting for that one player to connect to the lobby, and then we'll be in the game in just a moment. So we'll see you in a sec. Welcome back. Last player connected to the lobby. We're all good. We're ready to rock and roll. Map number 3, Colosseo. Luminosity Gaming's pick. Of course, they're against Citrus Nation. It's been a bit of a scrap fest so far, but I love to see it. Colosseo, of course, not much of a sig map. It can be. it's not going to be, at least on the side of Luminosity Gaming, as Dante and Juby are back in.
Yeah, so I expect to see the Zarya here coming out from Dante, as well as something like the Kiriko-Lucio combo from Squid and Juby. For Citrus Nation, though, I'm interested to see whether or not they'll continue to try to run with the Ramatra. It's looked really good. Zeb has shown a little bit of a propensity to play something like the Zarya, but for this entire series, it's been the Ramatra flavor, and it feels like it's just been so scrappy, as you said. And it's really fun to watch to see which pick is going to come through first.
Yeah, I do like the Ram. I do like seeing a lot of Ramatra, honestly. It's been working out fairly well. I mean, I cannot.
Oh my god, do we get to see the Doomfist? I'm so sorry. I'm so excited.
Maybe.
Because Dante's Doomfist came in
Dante
clutch
is kind of,
at the end of Samoa.
Yeah, Dante, especially when it comes to tank, like, definitely known for the Doomfist. King for his Genji too. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised, but Zarya, yeah. I didn't think.
Come
on. I didn't want to get too baited. Kind of knew it was going to be the Zarya.
I know.
Yeah, we're all good. Same kind of comps here for Citrus Nation. Manually on the Ashe, pretty good in the neutral and getting that high ground. The Cassidy is just so strong. Curious if they do end up switching a little bit later on, but pretty standard comps across the board here. Vision also sticking on that Ashe.
Well, you're also playing poke at this phase of the game at Colosseo. You're trying to contest for this middle point, and it's going to come down to who can get the first pick. Is it going to be Vision? It's going to be King. Vision's already really low, so maybe it's a pick coming quickly here for Citrus Nation.
Nice little bubble on the Dynamite there. Will get himself a little bit of energy. It's nice that he's bubbling Vision there every single time that Citrus Nations are just poking their heads out. And yeah, classic Colosseo moment when you don't have a kill in 2 minutes.
All right, we're halfway there, so
yeah.
At this point, I wonder if you're just waiting for a Kitsune Rush to come online.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yes. If you don't get a random pick with the Ashe, probably. Oh, nice headshot from Manually there on to Vision.
Wait, tap almost has Pulse Bomb.
Me and Matt had the record for the longest no kills in an Overwatch League game, at least, and it was on Colosseo.
Wasn't it like 4 minutes?
Match that. It was like almost 3, I think.
Okay.
So we are.
I remember being a long time.
We are nearing that point. There it is, first kill. Round of applause, everybody. It took 1 minute and 30 seconds. There you go. Quick maths. Manually does end up going down. That Dynamite doing a lot of work with Vision. Definitely in a priority position in terms of the hit scan there. Having a nice little angle on the corner to throw that Dynamite. Throws it straight over the shield too. Really, really aggressive positioning from Vision. Just super close up and personal against Citrus Nation. Pulse Bomb gets thrown out. A little dodge out of the way from Vision there. The Dynamites keep on ringing in the ears of Zeb, who's just getting burnt to a crisp. Finally cooked and served. Luminosity Gaming get the payload going as there's the almost team kill.
I think Luminosity's finally found their groove. This was something that they struggled with in that very first round of Samoa when Manually just kept getting pick after pick. But Luminosity now, they've got 4 ults to work with. They're making maximum value out of everything that they've used as well. So is it going to be the Wombo combo of the Grab Pulse again? That is certainly on the menu.
Oh my Vision. Nice grab. Oh, huge grab. Pulse Bomb available from King. However, there's the sound barrier. Patient is King right now, waiting for a target, but you're very happy with that trade. Jacob using the sound barrier, plus Manually using Bob. LG, this is the perfect time to strike. They can play aggressive with a sound barrier of their own. Nemesis form comes out from Zeb and straight into an ultimate, but no. A Pulse Bomb quickly ending the annihilation, and Luminosity take back control of the game.
That's going to be just more quick progress there and point capture on Colosseo as they just continue to race down these picks into the spawn. Luminosity, if they keep this pace up, this is going to be a full capture. Look at us actually see Zeb switch off of the Ramatra. Gonna go over to the Zarya as well. I called out this pick a little bit earlier, seeing this get played in the series yesterday, but Zeb can for sure go toe-to-toe when it comes to this hero, and that might be the firepower that they need right now, just being able to make a difference.
Uh-oh, there you go. Both bubbles already used. Zeb in a little bit of trouble. However, that Kazuna Rush is going to aid in that cooldown at least. And there you go. Stands up to Dante and takes the kill. However, Luminosity Gaming, they do end up getting that capture and the forward spawns if they manage to make it out. I think Juby at least is going to get out. They're using the skates. Doesn't like Squid's going to be able to. They should be able to get forward spawns and at least a priority position in this mid fight. So we're back to resetting in mid, basically.
Yeah, but this time around with that Zarya is a key difference here for Zeb. You have those bubbles, just like Dante has been using, already maintaining some significant charge as well. And with the dynamites, that's another great way to be able to just keep that Zarya charge big and healthy. I think this is a good choice for Zeb here, just to also show a little bit more versatility in that tank pool.
Tower the pulse bomb. Almost waiting and baiting King there. King does have Juby with him, so they're chilling. Mid fight. I love mid.
We love mid.
Remove the glass.
We love.
All right, King's nearing the pulse bomb as well. It's going to be the pulse bombs, I'd imagine, or at least maybe even Dante. Honestly, if Dante gets some more damage in, hasn't got too much energy. Well, too much, 0 energy. So not going to be building up that grav quickly. Okay, the Bob. All right. Someone else has joined the battle. Tab trying to go for a pulse bomb. Couldn't quite find the target. Hits the recall instead. Bob enough to clear the way for Citrus Nation as Luminosity Gaming do back up somewhat. Small duel on the side, but there's the grab. And waiting for the Suzu. There's the beat. The pulse on top as well. A lot of damage. All that over health completely disappearing from Zeb's HP pool as he ends up going down to the Bob of all things. Dante playing a little bit passively, knowing that there's still a rush out on the field. But a good 3-person grab will result in a team fight win for Luminosity as they get that bot moving again.
That was a lot of resource investment there by Citrus Nation to have to try to withstand that grab. So 2 very powerful support ultimates off of the table. Tap still has a pulse bomb, but with the way that both of these Zaryas have been playing, it's going to be very difficult, I think, for Tap to try to weave in a pulse bomb pick. You've got the bubble, you've got the Suzu, just so many tools here.
Grab and corner, beat, and the pulse. I don't think it's much surviving that, especially
well, grab is nice.
Yeah, dynamite on top. Tap does end up going pretty low, getting chased down. Yeah, King ends up cleaning him up, and this is going one way that Citrus Nation I don't think anticipated. This is much more of a trade fight more than a Citrus Nation just complete clean sweep. With a grab, pulse ball, everything basically thrown in. You'd expect it to be a lot quicker and cleaner. Juvie goes down to the stray right click, but once again, they're just resetting to mid. They're winning these fights, Rose, but the problem is the way Luminosity are playing and how far they're pushing the bot, it is just a reset for them. They're more than happy with this. A fight win for them next is just going to be resulting in the same thing. Citrus Nation are going to have to win 2 to 3 fights to get this bot moving close to that 90-meter mark.
I mean, look at that, though. Manuel can keep hitting those headshots, though. That's another Bob online. That's another person that can enter into the fray here, and that is going to be just another nice bit of damage there. That damage buff to Bob has been palpable, I think.
It's been paying dividends. All right, okay, Bob, what you got this time? Surely you got better aim than manually, but I don't think so, to be very honest with you. Nice bit of space created once again, but this is deja vu. This is exactly what happened before. Pulse bomb on the Tracer. King gets the better of him. An ego pulse is sometimes so sweet to witness, and that's exactly what that was. King with another kill too. Later, Bob ends up winning it out, and Luminosity Gaming once again marching on forward.
It's tough because Luminosity is playing from a defensive position while Citrus Nation is struggling to try to actually get some sort of meaningful amount of control. Goes back to the conversation you had started before about the battle over the mid. If you can't get past the mid or the neutral, then you're gonna be in a little bit of a world of hurt here. Citrus Nation at least can come back with something like the Kitsune Rush, the Grav. They have a little bit more tools to work with immediately. The Luminosity is about to have those same things online, so once again, battle for mid. But can Citrus Nation get out on top of it this time, being able to lay that Kitsune Rush down through this middle point?
That phrase too is it's like a different connotation of the battle of the mid.
The battle of the mid?
Not quite. Luminosity is definitely not mid, I'll tell you that right now. Graviton Surge, quite well timed there, does manage to catch vision, but a Graviton Surge defensively used by Dante, catching Zeb, stopping the approach. Pulse one flung out by Tab, can play with the overhealth here, does end up fading away, but Dante just taking names, taking numbers, taking checks away from Citrus Nation right now. Another clean sweep, and are they going to push it that far? Probably not. They're just going to teeter on the edge of pushing the bot in, just waiting for Citrus Nation to use ults, burn them, reset to the mid fight once again. You can see, does Zeb get the stop? Yes, okay, Zeb just sits on the edge of the point, or sits on the edge of the bridge, sorry, and stops that payload from moving. Tap is in no man's land though, so hopefully they can join the rest of their team.
Luminosity can play reactively. They don't have to set the pace. They don't have to push the envelope because Citrus Nation has to do that to them. So you can use all of your cooldowns reactively here. Just go away from this Kitsune rush. Perfect.
Yep,
don't get picked off.
Away. Just don't get picked. Juby saves the sound barrier. Jacob is the one that goes down. And Citrus Nation now in a little bit of a sorry state. Although, I say that as Zeb ends up even in the fight. Juby does end up falling and a nice little high ground double jump. You can take that one to your ranked games. As Zeb takes control of the high ground, and a nice kill onto Vision too, who ends up letting loose of the Bob. A Graviton Surge is in the sights of Dante if he can charge it up in time, but I don't think he's going to need to. I don't think LG are really going to need any more ults to end this game. A Bob, a beat should be enough for at least Luminosity to stay alive, although Dante's kind of getting rolled here, but a nice little teleport, a swift step from Squid keeps him up. A Suzu's going to be good enough to help Dante stay alive in this fight. A quick switch onto Doom for Zeb to get back to the bots, but it is a upwards hill battle here for Citrus Nation as they get that bot moving under the bridge.
And it's overtime. Please don't step off the bot. Please don't step off the
We've
bot.
seen too many C9s.
It's already happened today. Citrus Nation, though, has a chance here. They've got this pulse bomb. They just have to try to keep the Zarya from getting too high charge.
It's too late. Dante's got grab, he's got the energy, and Luminosity have got the win. A 3-0, a clinical execution on Colosseo there at the very end, and that will end the series. It started off as a scrap, as a brawl fest, but I mean, you can see the power of Luminosity right there in that map number 3. A W and another 3-0 as our second game of NA OWCS ends just like that.
There you go. There you have it. Luminosity, it's just so impressive how they took the loss early on in Samoa in that very first round and then turn it around. So it was really cool to just see them find their groove and get into the thick of it.
Yeah, I honestly really enjoyed this series. I'm with you on this one, Jaws. I love a dogfight. I love the scrappy ones.
Exactly.
And also, I feel like this was, even though, of course, Citrus Nation did take an L, I feel like some individuals on that team really stood out, manually especially. I think with the performance we got to see on each and every single map here, this player put themselves on everyone's radar, and I think very quickly Luminosity Gaming identified him as the threat, and we're really starting to, trying to zone him out, not allow him to get into those backlines, which really made those games so close early on.
Yeah, his cast on map 1
insane.
On Samoa was insane.
So good.
He was hitting even just the first shot out of the gate, just onto Juby. See you later. Straight
No
back
problem.
to the spawn. It was a really nice showing, I think, from Citrus Nation, who had a very close game against some legendary players in LFO yesterday. And yeah, they did end up going down 0-3, but like you said, Zoe, I think there's a lot of promise in this team going forward. But this is kind of what we expect on the flip side for Luminosity Gaming. There's a team full of veterans. They've been playing together for a fairly long time, and with Unter in the backlines as well, he's putting in the work, that is for sure. Although he'll say the opposite, but I know he's really doing a lot of work.
I feel like Hunter's coaching style is always one that baffles me, right? I'm like, are you actually
Hunter baffles me. That is.
Yeah, I was just about to say. I think
just like a stunt there,
Hunter.
Hunter person specifically. No, but I think like what's really exciting about the way that Hunter coaches is I've always gotten this feeling that Hunter trusts so much in what the players are doing and is there to just help foster like the good ideas. And so I think it's really nice to know that like Luminosity has a lot of just already great ideas, great game sense, great synergy together, and they're there to just continue to foster that growth.
I love the different approaches. I mean, there are some teams which really need more structure and a more, head down coaching style. Is that how it's called?
Yeah.
Head down coaching style, where like it's really more the coach making the decisions and the players just trust that this is going to work out. Whereas others are more player led. So a lot of different dynamics, obviously, for those different teams. Always interesting to hear from them themselves. We might get an opportunity to chat to one of the players after this, so we can, ask all the right questions. But yeah, this is Luminosity Gaming. Even though the beginning was a bit scrappy, I think once they started to find their groove and their footing in this series, they started to look really, really dominant towards the end there. So they will be a team to watch out for heading into the main event, which they now officially qualified for.
Yeah, I mean, it was just clinical at the on map number 3. Like, knowing the pacing of push is really important, and they just have it down to a T. They know they don't need to overextend. You got 90 meters, you got the checkpoint, and Zeb has to stand on the bridge to stop the payload, and then they have to kind of bundle on top of them, use ults to try and clear them off, because if they don't, then Luminosity get more push. They know how to play that map super well, and extremely well disciplined, and just in line with how you're supposed to play the Zarya comps too. Dante's just such a phenomenal player and has been for such a long time. I'm excited for Luminosity. I really am. I mean, the next game, though, is going to be just, oh my God, a Timeless versus M80.
I know. I'm
more champions.
So excited.
Some of the best players on their individual roles, too.
Yep. Yeah, there's just stacked across the board. I love the storylines heading into that one as well. Just one last few words here about Citrus Nation from you guys. Do you feel like if they may or may not have... That's a weird way to approach this question. Let's start again.
You're good.
Do you feel that if they wouldn't have tried to shoehorn those Ramatra comms on, let's say, Midtown, that they might have had a better chance to come out on top? Or do you think it's just that's their comfort pick, even though it didn't work on that map?
I think the meta is just kind of not solved right now, and I don't think there's okay, this comp is just better, this comp is better. It's much more, what you kind of feel comfortable with, and I think just at the end of the day, it was just hard for them to really deal with the Zen, with the Batiste, and the caliber of players too. In Citrus Nation, I think they're pretty damn good at the Ram comp, especially with someone like a Manually on Cassidy, but they just pound for pound didn't stack up to them today, but they've got a lot of fight in them, which is the most exciting thing, I think.
They really do. Let's actually head into an interview. We have good old Dante standing by, joining us for a quick chat. Dante, my man.
Dante!
How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys?
You're doing fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. Look at Dante being polite. No one ever asks it back,
The politest guest, I know.
Dante, let's talk about the series we just saw. Early on, it was a bit of a dogfight, a bit scrappy here and there. We love that, though. It was explosive to watch. I mean, Samoa, at the end of it itself, was just, everyone was holding their breath. Did you maybe not expect that much resistance from Citrus Nation? Are you surprised at it at all?
I wasn't too surprised because we watched them beat Beaner's team yesterday, and that's a pretty good roster. So we knew it would be a harder match. I was not expecting that overtime fight. That was actually an incredible fight. It was probably one of the craziest overtime fights I've had in my career. I'm gonna blame it on not having a warm-up scrim. I'll be honest, we didn't have a warm-up scrim. We turned things up the later the series went on. So yeah, that's it.
I will say it very much felt like that, where you just warmed up to it, because as soon as you got to map number 3, it was okay, this is it. This team, they're gonna win the straight out of the gate. You just play that so clinically. Dude, the scrappiness, I love it though. If you can make some more of that happen on control and stuff, that greatly appreciated. I love that.
Yeah, will do. Gotcha.
Awesome.
It's definitely a tough competition as well when you look at the caliber of teams. Is there any team you're specifically looking at that, apart from yourself obviously, that is going to be head and shoulders above maybe the rest of the pack? M80 just screams to me as some of the strongest in the region, especially on their roles.
I actually feel like Toronto will be stronger just because of the flexibility from Toronto. Someone can play every single tank, and there's so many different tanks being played this meta. You never know which one will end up being the dominant tank or if it'll be a swap game. So I think that gives Toronto the biggest edge over any other team.
Okay.
I'd love to ask you a little bit more about that, Dante, because we saw a couple of subs on your team heading into the second map. And so I'm just curious about your take on where the meta actually even is right now because of all the different compositions that we've seen so far.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure. Zarya feels good on the rush maps for us. we've been liking playing those Zarya the last few weeks. We play Sigma on false maps because if I play Sigma, Hunter will probably kick me again. I don't want to see that. Wouldn't be good. And yeah, we're just splitting between those two maps right now, or those two comps.
Right on. One last question. We kind of started discussing it a little bit, just coaching strategies or approaches with different teams. What's yours? How involved is Hunter? Is it a top-down kind of thing, or is it more player-led?
I'd say it's somewhere in the middle. I think the best value Hunter gives is he's just a really funny guy, and he gets everyone on the same page because our team is very opinionated. We have a lot of different opinions, but he just like helps our team with the cohesion a lot. Like he just glues everyone together. So I think that's his strength for our team.
Yeah, it's that and the mullet for sure.
Yeah.
We're always happy to hear from you, Dante. Best of luck in your next match, and once again, congratulations.
All right, thanks for having me. See you guys.
Bye-bye. Luminosity Gaming take the dub. A bit scrappy at the beginning, but very entertaining for sure. That OT fight, if you missed it, go back and watch it. So congrats to Luminosity. We now are getting ready for our last match of the day, which is coming up right after this.